Today we open the phone lines.
part of our 5 years anniversary, we are doing this to say thank you to everybody, to also educate everyone on what is going on tech. Mind you, this is a dispensation where we are moving from the physical world to the digital world. I hope you understand me. Aha, yes, perfectly. So today we have Mr. Assouka, Michel, with us. But before I go to him, quickly, let's run through what we did last week. So we started with video production, and then we went to sound production. That was yesterday. Today we are doing photography. Yes, you demanded for it. We had a lot of comments coming through that they want us to treat photography today. And therefore, since you spoke, we listened to you. Yes, so we are treating photography today. But quickly, I would like to talk about Preech Media and then about the 5 years anniversary we're celebrating. Yes, so God has been gracious to us. He has seen us through all the storms and everything. Yes, as a company that does Christian events, that is production and publicity. Yes, design and publicity. For Christian events, talk about photography, video coverage, live streaming, and all of that for Christian events and decent content events. Yes, I hope you get what I'm trying to say. I won't explain much. Okay, so as part of our 5 years anniversary, last week we did a restream of most of the events that we got to shoot in the course of time as part of our 5 years anniversary. We restreamed all those events. That was from last week, Wednesday to Saturday. And then this week, we are having the free virtual media training. Yes, that's from the 9th to 12th of September 2020. Therefore, it's going to end tomorrow. So, hey, if you couldn't join the previous sessions, mind you, tomorrow will be mind-blowing. Tomorrow will be the end, the final, grand finale. And then also, as soon as we finish tomorrow, next week, Monday, yes, next week, Monday, we have night of prayer and worship. We're going to pray and thank God. We're going to worship God for what he has done for us so far. So join us next week, Monday. Mind you, the time is from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. All our events are virtual, apart from just one. That's the grand finale. I'll announce that as time goes by. Yes, so on Tuesday, we have Evangelistic Virtual Crusade. Yes, Evangelistic Virtual Crusade. And with Evangelistic Virtual Crusade, it's going to be held on 15th September. That is Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Yes, that's going to happen on Tuesday. So make sure you stay tuned and you join us on Tuesday. Now on Wednesday, we're going to have live testimony. That is Masem. Mind you, we have a lot of people who were able to make it through the period of time. Yes, a lot of entrepreneurs who've been able to make it just like we did. We have a lot of people who also went through storms in life, but they've been able to make it. So we're going to talk to most of them. That's a live testimony. That has to do with Masem. Yes. Therefore, moving on, the next event on the screen, just like you'll be seeing, we would have a married and singles talk. Yes, married and singles e-talk. That's going to be on the 17th of September. Yes, 2020, of course. That's next week, Friday, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Yes, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. That's going to happen. And then also we have the media business webinar. So the previous one will be on Thursday, and the media business webinar is going to be on Friday. Yes, so we're going to talk to a few tech people as well as business people in the music industry, in the video industry. Mind you, we're going to talk about Christian media ministry in the 21st century. Yes. Next, we'll have the grand donation. That has to do with donating to the Drug Rehabilitation Center. That's going to be on Saturday, 18th of September 2020 at 12 p.m. exactly. Therefore, to support this cause, if you want to join us to donate to the Drug Rehabilitation Center, you would have to call us. You can call us on 0543 294101. Yes, or 020 916 669. Yes, you can call Preech Media on these lines, and then we will get in touch with you. Yes. Now, we'll be donating to the Drug Rehabilitation Center on next week, Saturday, that's 19th of September 2020, 12 p.m. prompt. Yes. Thank you very much. And then next, we are going also to have the grand finale. The grand finale of the 5-year celebrations. Yes, Preach Media started exactly on 20th September. That's coming Sunday. But mind you, come Sunday, we have women in worship. I hope you are aware. Aha, we have women in worship. Not only that, but a few activities that is come Sunday, and therefore we'll be having the Thanksgiving service as well as awards and appreciation. We want to appreciate everybody who was part of the journey of Preach Media. Yes, everybody wants to appreciate a lot of people. And without you, we wouldn't have made it this far. Without God, we wouldn't have made it this far. Therefore, we want you to come together with us and celebrate, as well as celebrate other people who also joined in making this event successful. Yes, so today, we are going to treat photography. But right before then, I would like us to thank a few people who have been with us. I mean, talk about day one, Preach Media staff. We did a video, production. And day two, we had Mr. Johnson Asare, yes, CEO of Wavesonic Music, as well as tech head for Upswing Music. Yes. Now today we have Mr. Michel Assouka. Hello, Mr. Michel.
Hi.
I hope all is well.
By grace.
So, I want to ask a few questions just for our audience sake. Okay. How many years have you been in the photography industry?
Oh, okay. Roughly, my photography journey has been for, let's say, about 3 years.
About 3 years?
Yes, please.
Where did you start from?
I started late 2017. Yes.
Late 2017?
Yes.
Wow, late 2017. And therefore, you have it over there. He's also a very great entrepreneur. I mean, these days, it's not just the old people. Who, watch out. We the young people. Yeah, but we are coming like a car. We're already there. You just need to discover a lot from us. Mind you, stay tuned, and you tap a lot from Mr. Michel Assouka. Talk about photography. Yes, he's one of us. I mean, I forgot to mention it.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention it. Okay, I wouldn't want to talk about that much now. Yes. Okay, so we'll be diving in straight to Mr. Michel to take us through photography. Stay tuned and enjoy more.
Okay.
Okay, so what are we going to talk about today, basically?
Today, we are talking about photography.
Okay.
What photography is, the types of photography that we have, what generally you need to have to become a photographer.
Okay.
Some of the do's and don'ts in photography, and then some basic concepts that you need when you want to take a good picture, and then just some few concepts that will help you and will help you start your photography lessons or journey.
All right. Then take us from here, Mr. Michel.
Okay, thank you very much. I feel very honored or privileged to be on this platform. As he rightfully said, my name is Michel Assouka, and then I began this journey for about 3 years now. I began from 2017 and then up to date, yeah. But then in the creative art industry, I have been in it for about 5 years now, because I started with Preach Media. As he rightfully said, he forgot to mention that I would like to say a big thank you to him for every single opportunity he has given to me, and then for a grooming, and then through it all, he has been with me through my journey, yeah. So I'd like to say a very big thank you to Mr. Emmanuel Wete for the opportunity and everything he has done for me. Actually, I worked with Preach Media as a light person, yeah. I did lighting at Preach Media, and then I think in a way it has helped me in my photography journey, especially in the event photography. When I'm doing events, yeah, that has to do with stage lights and stuff like that. I get the opportunity, because of the knowledge I have from stage lighting, from Preach Media, I am able to, model my pictures and then get good images out of them, yeah. So today, as the whole program is, we are going to be talking about photography, what photography is, a brief history about photography, maybe the basics of photography, types of photography that we have, the things that you need if you want to become a photographer, just some few things that you need to start up with, and then we'll go straight to some basic concepts, some lighting setups, yeah. And then fundamental camera settings. Then we go to some do's and don'ts of photography, and I think that should help you, I mean, start something to your journey.
Yes. I forgot to mention that the phone lines will also be open, and therefore, we had a few feedback from you. We had a few people calling, and we are so much grateful. I mean, it's not easy to be in front of the screens. Yeah. Most of us, we are always in the background. But talk about Mr. Michel. Have you been in the background or?
Yes, I personally like to be at the background. This should be my first time in front of the cameras myself, streaming live. Yeah, I like, and I know the viewers would see. Yes, I like to be in the background room.
Yes. So there you have it, mind you. So getting to the 30 minutes. I mean, the last 30 minutes. That's about 1:30. From 1:30 going, we'll start taking the phone calls because we don't want to, interject so much. Yes, we want to stay focused and then learn more. Yes, you can keep your comments coming, and then we will make sure we read all your comments from 1:30 to 2 p.m. Yes, because we want you to study more and catch the flow. All right. Thank you, Mr. Michel. So let's go. Okay,
thank you once again. Okay, so first of all, learning photography, we wouldn't just hit into photography without knowing what photography is. Photography today has been very relevant and has been with us for some years. Some of us grew to see photography. I think photography has been there over 200 years, if I should rightfully state. It has been with us, or it has been there before we came. And then it's just within this dispensation that we find ourselves that it's more prominent and it's more relevant, that it has become very professional. Yeah. So first of all, photography, what photography is. Photography is imagination, as I always put it. Photography is imagination. I rightfully always put it as being able to envision a result, a final result in your mind's eye, and then being able to visualize it or being able to bring it up with the right equipment at hand. Yeah. That is how I like to put photography, or I like to explain photography. It's just the ability to process something in your mind, to see something in your mind, and then with the right equipment at hand, and then making it possible or creating it. Yes. Photographers are creatives. That is how we normally like to call ourselves. Contemporary professional photographers are creatives. Yes. So photography is also the art of taking and just processing photos. And then simply put, it uses a mechanism of drawing with light to be able to bring out the images. Yeah. So as I said, photography has been with us for some time, and then for over 200 years, I think it has been there in this 19th century, middle 19th century. That is when we have gotten to see how relevant it is and the major roles that it plays in the industry today. Okay, so I would like us to jump straight to the types of photography that we have.
Okay.
Yeah, the types of photography that we have. Photography is very broad, I think. It's very broad. And then I think it will be very helpful if anybody who wants to start photography or wants to do photography finds a particular interest or finds a particular place that will interest him or her the most, and then try to focus on that, and then also trying to study other places as well. There are many types of photography, and I would like to touch on a few. I would like to touch on a few, yes. So, depending on the photographers, what inspires the photographer or what puts the photographer or incites the interest in photography, a person might like to, I think, focus on some aspects of photography. First of all, I would like to talk about portrait photography. Portrait photography. This is mostly the most common type of photography that every photographer, I think, tackles or finds interest in first. Yeah. And then what is portrait photography? What is portrait photography? I say portrait photography or portraiture is a photograph of a person or a group of people that captures the personality of the subject by using effective light. So I think, simply put, portrait photography is just a way of showing a person's expression or emotions, or trying to model out a person with the use of effective lights, and then with the use of effective lights, backdrops, and other equipment. Yes, that is how, or what I think portrait photography is. Portrait photography, there can be two forms. We can have studio portraits, and then we can have outdoor portraits. Any of them, I think, is or could be called portrait photography. And then a portrait picture might be artistic, or it might be clinical as part of a medical study. Portraiture is one of the most commonest type of photography that we think of when we consider a career option, as I rightfully said. So if anybody wants to go into photography, I think that the most likely area that you like to look at or like to touch on is, I think, portrait photography. And then that is what it is. I have a few here. I don't know if the cameras can capture it.
Oh, yes.
I have a few portrait pictures here that I would like to demonstrate as. Yeah, so as we have it there, they are used, it's used mostly to show expressions or model out how a person looks, or tell us an impression, or give, yeah, an impression, I should say, yeah. And then next, I would like us to look at event photography. Event photography. Okay. Event photography, as the name sounds, has to do with events. Has to do with events. And then this type of photography might seem simple, might seem easy, but then I think there's more to event photography, because it takes a lot. A photographer has to be very, very, what word should I use? Someone need daho, I should say. Someone need daho. Yeah, someone need daho when you are shooting an event. I mean, it comes with moments, and then it comes with a lot of moments and things that you cannot miss. Yeah. So when you are doing event photography, I think you have to be very vigilant. You have to be very watchful. So event photography just has to do with events, like naming ceremonies, like Preech Media's live events that they have been doing, coverage, gospel shows, gospel events. I mean, all events that you can think of, funerals, worship programs. Yes.
Moments,
funerals, ceremonies, dance ceremonies, formal corporate ceremonies, engagement and weddings. Even those can be classified as events. Yes. So when doing event photography, I think the photographer has to master vigilance. You have to be very vigilant to be able to capture the emotions, to be able to capture moments. That is very key in event photography, moments. Because if you miss moments, that is what we are telling a story of the event. If you miss the moment, you are missing the whole event.
If you miss the wedding ring,
you have missed the. You didn't do anything. What did you do? What did you capture? You didn't capture anything. So I think if you miss the moment, you have missed the whole event. Yeah. The next that I would like to touch is the wedding photography. That is one key and major aspect of photography today. That is one key, aside the portrait photography. Another aspect that everybody would like to go into, or would like to move into is the wedding photography. Yeah, and this has to do with photography that is focused on a whole wedding ceremony, a blessing ceremony between two couples, or between couples, I should say, between couples. And then it normally starts from the pre-wedding. That is the images that are used to advertise or to showcase the couple who are going to get married. And then it also encompasses the ceremony from court signing to engagements to weddings. Yeah. So that is a brief about wedding photography. And then this kind of photography is also very, very, very crucial. It's not as simple as people might think it is. It's very, very crucial. And then I think it does employs the services of documentary photography, and then I think event photography, because within wedding photography, you are telling a story. As I rightfully said, in event photography, within wedding photography, you are telling a story, and then you are trying to capture moments. So you need to be very vigilant as shooting an event. You need to be very vigilant to capture the moments in a wedding, to be able to capture when they are kissing, when they are wearing the rings, when they are, pledging or exchanging vows. You need to be moments where parents are bringing their daughters in and all that. You need to be very vigilant to be able to capture them. And then I think it requires a very, very serious skill, yeah. And after that, even after that, going to sit, having a vast variety of images to edit is, another aspect that we would like to look at. Yeah. Yes. And so you're very well. Yeah. So I have a couple of them here that I think if the cameras can capture, just some few wedding pictures that I have there. And then another interesting aspect of photography is the product photography. Funny enough, in Ghana, as we have it, we have various types or varieties of photography there. But then we as me, okay, let me speak for myself. I wouldn't like to say I'm specializing in product photography in Ghana because, when you try to specialize in one place and then stay there, commercially, some of this type of photography is not really fetching. For what I know, some people may be making it out of it, but then the vast variety of people may not make much money from some of the types of photography, yeah, such as product photography, yeah. This is a form of photography that does commercials for products. Let's say you have a drink, you have beats, you have any product that you want to put out or put across to sell. It's mostly important that you get a very good image out of it. It's mostly important that you get a good image that will sell the product well. Sometimes when you go to Coca-Cola, I don't know if anybody has tried. When you go to Coca-Cola and look at the images there, sometimes the way once a Coke in a sweaty crown, sometimes it triggers you as a crown. Yeah, so that is the skill or required of a product photographer. Yes, yeah. They use a couple of light equipment and then stuff to try model out the product, yeah. So next we'll go to fine art. Fine art photography. Fine art photography has to do with creativity. In this kind of photography, the vision of the photographer as an artist is very key. This one does employ usage of, I think, concepts, usage of ideas to put out a message. Yes, fine art photography has to do with creativity. So, for instance, a photographer wants to put out an image or a message as love. Okay. Yeah, okay. A fine art photographer would come up with something creative, put models or put things together, and then put out a picture that when you immediately you see it, you just know that this is a picture that is telling love. It sends a message, it expresses an idea, it tells an emotion. And then fine art images are very, very artistic statements. Immediately you see them, you realize that this is telling something. This is sending an information. You don't need to even ask. Immediately you see them, because of the artistic perspective that the photographer puts in that kind of photography. It tells the image, immediately you see it. Yes. I do not have some images there though, because I don't practice all forms of photography. As I earlier said, as a photographer, you just know your interest and you find where you feel you can manipulate or work well. That is where you find your interest and then look at them and then focus on them very well. So we have, next we will talk about fashion photography. Fashion photography. Fashion photography has to do with a photograph that is simply made or specifically made for a clothing or accessory. Yes, so let's say a clothing line, a fashion designer will sew his or her dress and it will require the services of a fashion photographer to be able to give him some explicit pictures that will sell the product very well. Yeah, so that is another aspect of photography that if you are coming up as a photographer or you can look into, you can try and find the interest in fashion photography and then work with that. Another aspect of photography which isn't really common in our dispensation here in Ghana, is aerial photography. Aerial photography.
I love that one.
Aerial photography. And then this has to do with taking photos using aircraft or flying objects. Mostly modeling landscapes, mostly taking pictures from the top or from like an aerial view, point of view from the top. Yeah, so this one normally uses equipment such as drones and then other equipment, very expensive equipment to be able to enter this type of photography, and then this one also normally sells, but it's not really common in Ghana. So, but then if you are able to master that craft and you are able to model out good and then quality images, I think there are platforms that sell, that buy some of these images for their purposes. So, if you are coming up, you just have to find an interest. There are lots. Aerial photography can be a very interesting part that you can try to look at. Yeah, aerial photography. The next, we would like to look at architecture photography. Architecture photography. And then this is simply photographing buildings, structures, and then putting them in a way that is aesthetically pleasing. Yeah. Putting them in a way that looks nice. Taking pictures of buildings and then crafts and stuff like that. I think I have a few there. I have a few of architecture photography that I did, yeah. And then another aspect is documentary photography. Documentary photography. This is also a popular form of photography used in chronic events. This type of photography does take into consideration real life happenings, real life events. It tries to capture events as they happen. It does with documentation. So let's say there's an ongoing fight. A documentary photographer will come and then try and document how the event took place through pictures. Wow. That is what documentary photography is about. Let's say there's one popular, event that normally goes on in Ghana is the Chaliwete. I don't know. So a documentary photographer will just go there and then try to get quality images that will tell the whole story of the Chaliwete event. Yes. Yeah. So that is what documentary photography is. And I think I have some few shots there that I did during some events. Okay. Yeah. That is what we have there. Now, another aspect is travel photography. This also isn't really common because it involves a lot, and then it involves money. Yeah, you have to travel from one place to the other, and then it takes into consideration filming of cultures of a particular place, taking documenting area landscape. So you get to a particular place, and then you study their culture, you film their culture, their landscape, their area. You just tell a story about a particular place. And then normally travel photographers don't stay at one place. They move from places to places, trying to document the cultures of the various places and the various people that they meet. Yeah. Another interesting aspect is the wildlife photography. Wildlife, this is another interesting part that I think is very, very, very key in the creative art industry. And then it has to do with documenting various wildlife in their natural habitats. It just taking pictures of animals whilst they are in their habitats. So I think I have a few here which was from a friend.
Okay.
He is a documentary photographer. He does documentary, wildlife, and then other. His page as This Africa. You can check him out. This Africa, yeah, that's what he does. He does documentary photography. So if you need some nice wildlife pictures or documentary pictures, you can check him out. This Africa, yeah. And then another aspect is sports photography. So all these photography genres or types that I've mentioned are very interesting types that you can go into. You can find interest in them, and then hook up with one. Learn, study the craft, look at what people are doing, try to find interest in any of them, and then try to master the craft. That is what most people will say, or I would say. Yeah. Sports photography refers to a genre of photography that covers all types of sports. So it just deals with sports. Yeah. And then I think this also requires a lot of vigilance, because you are going to tell who scored the goal, the emotions they put out across after they scored the goal, who net the basket, who did this, who did that. Yeah, so you are going to be filming all of those things. That is sports photography. And then we have the last one that I'll talk about is editorial photography. Editorial photography. And then this has to do with just putting out pictures for magazines and newspapers.
Wow.
Modeling images for magazines. And then this is an interesting field that you would also like to look out or check it out. Yeah, editorial photography. It has to do with just capturing images, and you have to do with a lot of things. You have to get a model, stylist to style them, portray a particular, let's say, theme for the magazine. Let's say if you are doing a theme for sensation, you need to get people, a model who can model out the sensation look. You have to get a stylist, makeup artist who can, yeah. So that is what editorial photography is about. So, I mean, there are lots of photography genres that I didn't talk about. You can think of food photography, you can think of nature photography, you can think of, I think, more genres that you can find interest in them and then try and then, yeah, work with them. So now we get to the next aspect, which is a very interesting aspect. What do I need to start photography? What do I need to start photography? I would say basically with your phone. With your phone, you can even start photography with your phone, because we have most smartphones have been made in such a way that they have good pixels, they have clarity, sharpness, and stuff like that. That if you want to start photography with the right ideas and the right concept, you can even start. We have people who are doing phone photography and they are doing well. They are doing very well. So even with your phone, you can do photography, yes. But then to do professional photography, to add the professionalism, contemporary professionalism to it, I think you need, first of all, a very good camera. A good camera. And when I say good, I mean good camera. Yeah, not just any camera. You can work with any camera, but I know of people who say photography is not about the gears and the cameras that you have. I sometimes agree to that, and sometimes I don't agree to that. Yeah, because I would say if I have the knowledge, and then let's say I have a subject that I want to take, and it's very far from me. The subject is very far from me, and then I don't have the right equipment, a good camera, a good lens to take that image. I mean, I may have the knowledge, I may have the ideas, but then I will not be able to deliver. And if you go to the earlier explanation of what photography is, we said it's the ability to envision a result in your head and then doing it with, making it visualizing it with the right equipment at hand. Yeah, so it means that a good camera is the right equipment that you need to be able to do the work very well. So I would say the first piece of equipment that you need is a good camera. And then there are varieties of cameras. Actually, I would like to touch on just a few of them. There are types of cameras. We have two categories, three or so, okay, let's say three main categories. You have the DSLR, that is digital single lens reflex cameras. And then we have the single lens reflex cameras. And then we have the mirrorless cameras. These three types are very good cameras that you can look at when you want to start photography. You can just try and get any of them. They are good cameras that you can get and then work with. Yes. DSLR cameras are just the modernized type of SLR cameras. SLR cameras are the olden type of cameras that have a lens attached to the cameras and then cannot be removed. Yeah. But with the DSLR cameras, it's digital. So you can have one lens attached to it, but then you can remove it and then replace other lenses to them. And then these two cameras have mirrors over their sensors. There's a component in the camera that is known as sensor, and that has a mirror on top of it. And then these mechanisms go through to help you create an image, to help you to process that image. Yes. With the mirrorless cameras are type of DSLR cameras, but then the difference from the DSLR cameras is that they do not have mirrors over their sensors. Hence the name mirrorless cameras. So if you look on my table, I don't know if, okay, the cameras can capture them. If you look on my table, we have some cameras here, and then these types here are the DSLR cameras. Yeah. These types that we have here are the DSLR cameras. And then this right here, a G4, Panasonic G4, yeah, GH4 Lumix, right? Yeah. It's the mirrorless camera. When you open it and you look into it, you find out that there's no mirror on the sensors. Yes,
okay.
That is.
I think the top camera can capture that.
Okay, so
yes.
When we open it and then we show it to the cameras, I don't know if viewers can see that.
Oh,
yeah.
Camera, they will see it.
Yeah. Yes.
Bring it down,
so,
and I think they will get to see it.
Yeah. So the sensors there has no mirror over on them. Yes. I think the whole mechanism with mirrorless cameras does with the lens that is placed in them. But for the SLR and the DSLR cameras, okay. I think when we open them, we find out that there's a mirror. There's another component under.
Let's take it down a bit. Let's see that bit.
There's another component under there that is known as a sensor, and then there's a mirror on it. That is why this one is called the non-mirrorless, or these ones are the mirrorless. Yes. And these ones are the DSLR cameras. Okay. Yes. So, and with the DSLR cameras, I think there are two types that you can also look out for when you want to select cameras. That is why I would say there are cameras and there are cameras. There's good camera and there's a good camera. Yeah. So if I want to go in for camera, I wouldn't just go in for any camera and say that photography is not about gears, it's not about cameras. So I just buy any camera, and then you need to read about the cameras that you want to buy, because they play a very major role. You need it. Yeah. Anybody who will say it's not about cameras, I would agree to it at a point, and I would disagree, because you need the cameras. Yes, you need the cameras. Yeah. This right here is a type of DSLR which is known as a full frame, and then this is a crop sensor. Okay. This is a crop sensor. There are two types of DSLR cameras. Okay. This is a full frame, and then this is a crop sensor. Okay. Right from, I mean, there are sizes you can know that one will do one job more than the other. Better than the other. Yes, better than the other. You can know. Yeah, you can know that one will do a great job. Not to say this one is not good. It's also good, but there's good, better, best. So if you are going in and you want to do something and you want to do it, and I don't think you would like to be good. You would like to be best. So you would like to go in for, I mean, the best gears that you can get. And then mind you, the best gears are also very expensive. It comes with a cost. It comes at a cost. So if you are thinking of also going for the best cameras and the best this one, then I think then bottom suye. So this is a full frame camera and then the crop sensor. So by their sizes you can tell the difference. And then one major feature about these two cameras is about the cropping. A lens that is placed 85 lens placed on a full frame camera at a particular distance. The shot that is taken there, when you stand at the same place and put the same lens on a crop sensor at the same place, you would realize that the shot that is taken with a full frame comes out fully, but the crop sensor would crop in the images a little. Will crop in the images a little. I think I have a brief demonstration here that if the camera will zoom
yes,
in.
it's projected on the screen.
So this is just the idea of a full frame and then a crop sensor. The red portion there will be the image that will come out of the crop sensor at the same distance with the same lens and then everything. If you take with a full frame, it will come fully like this, and then with the crop sensor, this is how it's going to be cropped. And I think that alone is a good reason to consider when you are trying to get cameras. You try and look out for one that will help you, especially when you are shooting a place where there's no space. It can be full frame can be a little bit comfortable because when you have a fixed lens on it and then you are shooting in a place without space, a full frame already gives you space. It spaces out for you, so you are able to stand there and then try and get the best shots. But then with the crop sensors, you realize that maybe you have to go back a little, and then it's a little stressful. Yeah. So I think that is all we've spoken about.
The full frame and then the crop frame.
Crop frame, yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And then when you want to begin your photography journey, another key thing that you have to look at is your lenses. You need to get lenses on the cameras. You need to get lenses. Mind you, some of the cameras come with body only. You buy the cameras and then it's just a body. So you need your lenses to be able to capture the picture. Without a lens, the camera can't do anything on its own. The lens is what captures the images and the process sends it to the camera inside. That is how the mechanism is. You need a lens on the camera. Yeah. And then when looking out for the lenses too, I think, as I earlier said, you need to look out for the best lenses, not just good or, yes, because you want to be a best photographer, you want to be a good photographer. Yeah. So you need to get gears or stuff that will help you do the work well. Now, I mean, there are equally good lenses that you can work with, and then every regular photographer has a 50 mm. Every 50 mm. It does. I mean, it does the magic. It does 50 mm. There are
very, very good lenses.
Yeah, there are types of lenses. There are macro lenses, telephoto lenses, wide lenses, standard lenses. Standard lenses are what we have here. The 85 mm, the 50 mm. Those are the standard lenses. We have the wide lenses. That is one that we have here. This is wide to zoom. It is 24 to 105. Yeah. It is wide to zoom. But we have wide lenses that are fixed, like 24 mm, like 18, like 10 to 18, 24 to this. Those are the wide lenses, yeah. And then you normally say use the right tool for the right job. I wouldn't like to have a shot with a portrait shot with a wide lens. I mean, you wouldn't get the best image that you are looking out for. Yeah, so you have to get the right lenses for the right job. For instance, if I have I am at a place, I'm a documentary photographer. Now there's an event happening far from me. I need to capture that event. Without the right lens, I wouldn't be able to capture it. Okay. Yes, so in a way, your field of interest also triggers you on the kind of gears that you should get. Yeah. The kind of photography you want to do will tell, because you can't tell me you want to do aerial photography and then you you'll be using
50 mm.
50 mm. You are not going to do anything. Yes. You can't tell me you want to do architecture, you want to do landscape, and then you are using 50 mm
50
or
mm.
using 85 mm. Yeah. So, in as much as you have to get good lenses, your type of photography you are doing will also tell you the kind of gears that you should get. So, for instance, if, as I said, you are a documentary photographer, you have an event happening, you need to document that thing. You can't use your 85 or 50 mm. These are fixed lenses. So definitely you would need your zoom lens to be able to draw the subject closer to you, and then you capture your moments. Yes. And then the next thing that you would also look at is your post-processing or post-production software. Yeah. After taking pictures, you're taking the photos. Yes. Photos may be shot in RAW or JPEG, or maybe shot in RAW.
Someone is asking briefly, as part of the messages that I'm receiving.
Okay.
The person is saying that what types of softwares are okay for editing? Yes, that's the person's question.
Okay, so I think it's the right question at the right time. That is where we are now. We are post-processing software. So for images, depending on what you are doing, or depending on the kind of photography you are doing, maybe you need certain softwares. The camera processes image at hand, processes the image and gives you the image as it sees it. Now, it's the duty of the photographer to manipulate the image to the way he wants the image to come out. Because, mind you, the images that you see out there are not as were captured in the cameras. No. The images that you see, most of them are not just as were captured in the camera. They have to be processed. So with that, you need some softwares to help you do that. And I think for every regular photographer, Adobe Suite, that is the Lightroom, and then your Photoshop, these two softwares should be okay for you to be able to process your images. Lightroom and then your Photoshop. Lightroom, as its name suggests, for light adjustments, and then for your tone works, and then to just get the right exposure for your image. For your images, you would want to use Lightroom, and then to do much more detailed editing, to do much more detailed processing, I think you need the Photoshop. And there's also other softwares that people use. There's Capture One, that is also a very good post-processing software that you can also get, and then that is going to help you. Yeah. So those are the software. After taking your images, coming back, now you have to change it to the field that you want. You have to manipulate it to a way that you want to, the story that you want to tell out. You want to sell out or put out there. No. Yeah. You have to edit them using the softwares, various softwares. So I think that is it. There are other devices that you need, but some of them may not be mandatory depending on the kind of photography you are doing, and then some of them may you may need some of them to, as a startup, you may, as you keep learning and understanding, you would have to get them. You have to get them. Yeah.
Okay.
You need.
Okay. Nice one. So just to read a few messages we have fellas. Buffalo Ministries, that's Lois. Hi. Oh, nice. Okay. Hello, Lois. Nana Obeng giving you a thumbs up. I think they're enjoying the presentation very, very much. Yes. Kojo Hansen Sabi, I'm really enjoying this, Brother Ima. Yes, Kojo, we're also enjoying you watching us. God richly bless you. Imanola Amo says, wide lens and wild lens. You guess where you got your name from? They are getting it. Okay. Obapa Kunu says, what about the lenses the football or soccer journalists use?
Yeah.
That's from Obapa Kunu.
Yeah,
I think to know the name for that.
Those lenses all fall into the category of telephoto lenses. They are I think I mentioned some types of I mentioned macro lenses, telephoto lenses, and then those are 70 to 200. There's 70 to 300. There's those lenses that are used for sports photography, for documentary photography. Yeah, those fall under the category that is telephoto lenses.
Telephoto lenses.
Yes, please.
Until sometimes once a photographer
lens
go
telephoto.
yes. Oh, nice, nice. All right, so just a quick one to remind you. Yes, so you are welcome to Preech Media 5 years anniversary. That's if you just tuned in. And then as part of our 5 years anniversary, we are running a free online tech training. Yes, so we are streaming to both Facebook and YouTube. So you can keep your comments coming, and then also make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Yes, it's very, very important. We need you to help us grow our YouTube channel so that anytime we post a video, we can add it to our playlists there, and then you can go and look for it. You know, looking for videos on Facebook is a bit difficult. But on YouTube, when you go there, when you go to our playlist, that is Preech at 5 or Preech Media Anniversary, you would see all the tech reviews we've been doing. You'll see all the tuition we've done so far. Okay, so quickly to read some of the comments, we have, is it Quaresma Frank? Yes, Quaresma Frank. Okay, forgive me, pardon me if I didn't mention your name. Or he's also giving you a thumbs up. Yes, yes.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother.
Lolo Praise. He says real stuff. It means you are hitting the point very well. Brakweku Simon says great presentation by all standards. Great presentations by all standards. Hey, Brakweku. Oh, my pressure. Okay, Shilolo Praise says, God bless you. God bless you for sharing your knowledge with us. Yes, Shilolo Praise. Oh, God bless you too. God richly bless you for staying with us. Also, we have Quaresma Frank again. I'm in Kumasi watching you live. Wow, 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 wow. Quaresma Frank, I think we need to talk. So, PM Preech Media backstage. Yes, we will get in touch with you. All right, all right. So, next, I would want to switch back to Wildlands. Let's continue the tuition. All right, so what are we seeing next?
Okay, so I was touching on the equipment that you need to start up your game, to start up your interest. Yes, so there are a few others that you need, apart from the lenses and the camera. You need a flashlight. Yes, you need a light source, an artificial light source, a flashlight. Yeah, that is what we have here. So you need stuff like this, a flashlight, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then you need a memory card to help store your images as you take them. Because without a memory card, the cameras can't capture anything. And then you need some lighting modifiers. Some of these things will be a little advanced. That is, if you are a beginner, you just have to get the basic things. And as you progress, as you keep learning, then the ideas start coming, and then you start to know these things and then try and get them. You need some of these things known as the triggers that will help you when you are doing you are shooting wireless with your flashes. Yes, that is, if you are using light modifiers, you need your triggers to help you use the lights in the light modifiers. And then I think most people might have seen photographers use some big boxes. Some of them call them umbrellas and stuff like that. Yeah, that is what we call them, lighting modifiers.
Light modifiers. Yeah, I guess we'll be moving on to the practical session.
Yes.
Exactly at 1 o'clock. So stay tuned. Yes, if he's able to finish whatever he's doing on the theory side, we move to the practical. I tell you, we will take pictures today. Yes, we will take pictures in the studio. He will take us also through editing. Photo editing, basic editing. Yes, so let's continue from here. I can see Kojosen Yepsen on YouTube. More fire. Kojosen, more fire, bro. That's very, very great. Not to read much more, but only we are totally learning. Points and explanations are clear. That's from Don Sharon. Nana Kisiedu, I have Canon 600D with 18 to 50 mm. What do you advise? New camera or better lens? Nana, I think with this, I'll answer it for you. What are you shooting? Yes. What do you specialize in? Yes. So Nana, add it to the comments that maybe you specialize in portraits, or you specialize in I don't know, aerial photography or anything, so that he can give you more advice. Yes. Obapa Kuno says, Bossu, you for prepared, then do your own. Oh yes, I go prepared and do my own. Emmanuel Amo and Esther Bedu are also watching. Yes, very, very good. We are very grateful to all our viewers, and then we say a big thank you. All right, so from here, where do we go next?
So we'll dive straightly to elements of photography, some basic concepts, some basic stuff that you need to know. Yeah, that will help you as you move along and then grow. First amongst them is light. Light. First thing is light. Photography is light. Every photographer would tell you or would explain to you that photography is light. First of all, the mechanism that the camera even goes through is light. The lens attached to the camera picks light rays from that is radiating from the subject, and then sends those light rays into the camera, and then it has a mechanism known as a sensor. The sensor also processes, and then that is the mechanism. It's light. So to be able to get good photographs, I mean, the first thing that you like to think of or like to understand is understanding light, because light is a key thing that shapes or tells a story. Light tells expression. It tells emotions. It helps you to define mood. It helps you to tell beauty. I mean, you can have somebody who is very beautiful, but with a kind of light that will be hitting the person's face, you might not see the true beauty of the person. Yes. So light plays a very key role in photography. Now, mastering photography lighting begins with understanding concepts. That is position, strength, and color. Yes. How you position your light affects the photograph. How the mood you create with the lighting affects the camera, because when you are shooting, when the light falls on the subject, it defines the shadows. So moving from light to shadows, it affects the person's face, and then it tells a whole lot. You can use light and shadows to shape a person's mood, to shape a person's expression. Bad light can, destroy a good image. A photograph that is supposed to come out nice, because of bad lighting, you might not get the full message that perhaps the picture is putting across. Yes. So we have two major light sources. We have the natural light source and the artificial light source. The natural light source has to do with light in an open space, light radiating from the sun, light in an open space. That is what the natural light is. And then the artificial light is any light that is induced from a lamp, any electric lamp, from your flashes, from your strobe lights. Any light that is induced from any lamp is your artificial light. So these two things, understanding these two things, play a very key role in the photography journey. Yes. So I would like to talk about 3-point lighting. Yeah, another key aspect that every photographer should know, and every person who wants to do photography should understand. Yeah, the
so
three.
These are popular.
Yeah, they are popular things that lighting that you must know. First of all, you have to have a main light, a main or key light.
Okay.
Your main or key light. You can't take a picture, you can't shoot without your main light. And then this main light, depending on what you are doing, depending on what you are filming, can be the natural light or an artificial light. Okay. So, for instance, if I'm shooting a landscape, then working out my exposure to get a good light will be from a main light. A main light, that is a natural light source. Okay. Yes, I wouldn't take a landscape with a lighting modifier. You cannot take a landscape with a lighting modifier. You are taking a landscape, a whole building, and then you want to light it up with a softbox. It's not possible. So with something like that, you would have to look at your your natural light as your key light. Okay. But let's say you are shooting in a studio. You want to shoot a model, and then you want to tell the best expression on the model's face, you need your key light. And then in a studio, I don't think you would like to use a sunlight in the studio. So in the studio, you like to employ the services of an artificial light, which might be any lighting modifier, either octabox, parabolic box. There are various types of lighting modifiers, the umbrellas, the strip boxes. Yes. So you would like to employ the services of your main light, which might be an artificial light. That is when you are shooting in a studio setting.
All right.
And then, would you like to come in?
Oh, no.
Okay. And then the next
Great one.
thing that you would like to look at is your rim light. Your rim light. The rim light basically has to do with light that that is placed around the edges of the subject that you are shooting. Okay. The light that is placed around the edges of the subject that you are shooting. I unfortunately don't have images here to show, but okay. I would have loved to have.
Where do we put that light, that kind of light? Where do we put it?
Okay, normally in a studio setting, when you are shooting in a studio, rim light is normally, because it's supposed to light the edges of the model, it's placed either at the side or at the back like that. Okay. Either two or one light, depending on the number of lights that you are shooting behind the model.
The model.
Yes, behind the model or the subject, not model alone, but behind the subject that you are shooting. What you are shooting. So you put a rim light around behind the subject like that. Yes.
Now, who do you see no trap and on
oh yes.
Back, sir.
Yes. You light view. You see it depending on how you expose the subject. That is how your camera setting goes into. I mean, your key light. You have to expose all of them and know how to bring them together to be able to give you the good light that you are looking for. Yes. And then the last one is the fill light. A fill light. So, as its name suggests, a fill light. A fill light is supposed to fill in the shadows that may fall from the main light. The fill light is the light that fills in the shadows from the main light. So a fill light may be any lighting modifier. It could be a reflector. It could be any other box with any other light that is going to fill in the shadows in on the subject that you are shooting. That is coming from the main light, because once depending on how you position the main light, it will give you shadows. So shooting a subject and then you don't want those shadows, you would have to employ the services of a fill light. That is another light that will fill in the shadows. Now, I'd like us to look at some key positioning when you are shooting in a studio. You are shooting, and mind you, this 3 light setup is not only for studio. When you are doing your outdoor portrait, when you are doing any other portrait, this 3 light main 3-point lighting is a basic concept that you can use everywhere, not only for your studio setting.
So it even means that if somebody is shooting outside, let's say in the evening, the person can still use the
3-point lighting. Yes, you can have, depending on the lighting modifiers you have, depending on what you are looking out for. Yes, you can have any of these things. Your main light, definitely you need to get your main light. That is it. So when you're shooting outside, you can have your main light as an artificial light. That is, if you're not using a natural light, you can have your main light source as an artificial light, and then you can have a rim light that will rim the back of and you can have a fill light that will fill the shadows. On your outdoor portrait, you can use these 3-point lighting.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So quick one. Before he moves to the next, I think I have a few comments and I want to read them out. Okay. So Nana Kisiedu came back to say, I have a Canon 600D with 18 to 50 mm. What do you advise the camera? Okay. Yes. I think with that, Nana, we told you to come back and tell us the type of photography you are doing. Okay. He says that he's doing portrait photography, 18 to 50 mm. What do you advise? Is it a new camera or a better lens?
18 to
50 mm. portrait?
50 mm. 18 to, is it a kit lens or is it a prime lens? You should state that. Okay,
Okay.
18 to 50, 55 mm or 50 mm. I think that is a kit lens.
Okay.
That might be a kit lens, and I think it's a lens that came with the camera. If I'm being
I'm
correct,
sure.
I think it's a lens that came. And for portraiture, for portrait photography, I don't think that would be a very, very, very good lens for portrait photography. But the camera could be is an okay camera. Yes. Is that what Canon 600D?
Yes, 600.
It's a regular camera that can get you results.
Good results.
Yes, good results.
Nice.
That is if you have a better glass on it, a better lens on it.
Okay, so yeah. Nana, you just heard from a wide lens. So you can do something about your lens, but the body, you can keep it.
Yeah.
You can keep the camera body. Joshua Pogo says, I want to start live streaming. What camera can I start with as a beginner? Thanks. Joshua, we did live streaming 2 days back. We treated live streaming 2 days back. Yes, so I would advise that you go 2 days back, you go on YouTube. When you go on YouTube, you can search for Preech Media. When you get to Preech Media, you go to the page. As part of our playlist, you find anniversary free online tech training. And then you can watch the video concerning live streaming. Yes. Kojo Hansen Sebi says, very bubbling. Oh, thank you very much, Kojo. As young as Don Sharon says, as young teen of 17, I'm learning very much from you. K, if I may ask, as a head of media for my church, these are the main people we really want to advise. So as young media for my church, higher heights, no, I don't want to mention the name of the church. Please, what is the best camera plus lens for shooting our services or our service videos? Okay, talk about videos. So, Don Sharon, I think you also need to go back and then check on the videography or live streaming tuition we did last 2 days. So follow the same YouTube link. I think from here we would also put it on the Facebook page. I believe it's still on the Facebook page. But when you go to YouTube, search for Preech Media, subscribe to the YouTube page, like, and then go to the Tech Preech 5 years anniversary tech playlist. So when you go there, you find everything over there. Someone is also saying, Amini Ampon, or say James, for OBS, yes, you can. Okay, so I think Amini Ampon was referring to Don Sharon. Kwasma Frank says, Mr. Ima, I'll PM you. I'm happy joining this session. Oh, God bless you, Kransima. Eddie MFI is also waving. All right, thank you very much for joining us. We don't want to interject the tuition much. So we would humbly plead that most of your questions should be timely. They should come at a point where he's treating a particular topic, so that we'll be able to, flow like that. We don't want to keep on going back and back. All right, because time, we have very, very limited time on our side. We can't treat everything, but we're trying to treat the most important things. So you can keep your questions coming on Facebook, and then also on YouTube. I can still see Martinson waving. Oh, nice. God richly bless you, Martinson. All right. So, what are we treating next?
Okay. So, after our 3-point lighting, I would like us to touch a little on the studio photography, and then I would like us to touch a little on the various key light positions. Yes. So when you are modeling, you are shooting in a studio. You have to get your main light, obviously your key light, and then your fill light. You can do without any of those two, but then your main light, you have to get your main light. Yeah, so for a simple home studio, let's say you just had a space in your room and then you shifted stuff, you want to do some small studio, home studio in your home, yes, you can do it. You just need your main light. You just need a main light to start a studio at your home. You don't necessarily have to get all those fill lights and a rim light and everything. You just need your main light. But what you need to understand is how to use the main light to get what you are looking for. What you need to understand is how to use your main light to get what you are looking for. So to begin with, I'd like us to talk about the butterfly light position. Yeah. So this light has to do with placement above and in front of the subject to create a small shadow under the nose resembling a butterfly, hence the name butterfly. So with this kind of lighting, I mean, when you have the subject in front of you as a photographer, your light is placed above and in front of the photographer. The subject, yes. Your light is placed above and in front of the subject, and then this light drops shadows, some small shadows beneath the chin and then the eyes of the subject. And then that is, it looks like a butterfly. That is why the name came about as a butterfly lighting. And so the image that I have there, was I used that kind of lighting to light up this subject. And then for me, it all depends on what you are going in for. It all depends on what you are going in for. If you are going in for a more dramatic look, if you are going in for, because we are using light to tell expression, to shape the person, to express emotions. For instance, the person is happy, and then you give the person a dim light, like a light, your key light is very dim. You might not be able to see the expression of happiness on the person's face. Yeah, so depending on what you are going in for, you might like to look at some of these lighting positions. And the butterfly light, I mean, goes or does the job for most photographers, I should say. Yeah, because mostly we are shooting a birthday shoot, you're having a birthday shoot, and then a birthday shoot, the person should look happy. And then the butterfly light positioned in front of the person like that spreads the light on the face of the subject, and then gives the face a very soft look and then a soft light on the face. Yeah, so I think that is a very good position that you would like to consider when you are doing your studio shoot. Yeah. The next light is the loop light. The loop light. With a loop light, it's pretty much a way of lighting that, I mean, it splits the light a little. You have light hitting one side of the face, and then shadows, a little shadows hitting the face, and then there's a spill of light at the other side of the person's face. That is how the loop light looks like. And I think I have an image there to portray that well. And then with that position, I think it's shifted 45 degrees towards or to the subject. But me, I don't know that calculation. What I do is that if I want to go for a loop light, I would just position the light at the side of the subject that I'm shooting, and then look at the image that I'm getting. If that is what I want, if the image that I get from my test shots is what I want, then I go for it. I don't know how to measure 45 degrees with my eyes. I beg. I don't know how to do that one. So I just need to position. All you need to know is that with a loop light, your light has to be shifted a little sideways to the subject. Yes. And then we come to the split light. The split light also splits the face of the subject completely. That is why the name split. So we have one side completely shadows, and then the other side completely lit up. So you have the light placed, they call it 90 degrees. 90 degrees. So you place the light 90 degrees to the subject. But obviously, me, I don't know that 90 degrees. I just have to position it, and then once I see,
as long as you get,
I get what I want to get, depending on what I want to portray. Okay. As long as I get that look that I'm looking out for my test shot, then that is the position that I want to put the light. And then the last position that I would like to talk about is the top-down light. And then with the top-down light, as the name sounds, top-down. So the light is hovered on top of the model of the subject.
That is the person we are shooting.
That is the person you are shooting. The light is placed on top of the person like that. And then with that one, I mean, you need a certain kind of stand to help you do that. So that is when you have to think of getting some of these gears. So with that, the light is placed on top of the model like this. And then usually you need to get a fill light to be able to fill in some shadows at the neck region and then at the chin region of the model. So the light is placed on top, and then there's a fill light here that fills in the light a little. Okay. And then if you have extra light, you have your rim light there, you are good to go. you are good to go.
All right.
Yeah. So the next concept that I would like to look at is your subject. I've been mentioning subject, and then somebody might ask, what's the subject? Subject is simply the object that is shown in the image, something that you are shooting. Subject is just what you are focused on, the image that you are trying to portray. So, for instance, if I give you a picture that you look at, and then you tell me, hey, girl, that girl is our subject in taking that particular portrait or the picture.
Example, say I send a video.
Yes. I am the subject. Yes. Yes, I'm the one. Yes, I'm the subject. In the camera, yes, I am the subject.
Okay, so he's a subject.
So I am the subject. So if you are doing a product photo shoot, when you put the camera here and you are shooting the camera then becomes your subject. So it's not necessarily maybe a human being. As a landscape photographer or as an architectural photographer, if the architect sees a building that he wants to take the picture, that setting, the building is the photographer's subject. And then knowing how to model out your subject also tells a very gives out a very good image. For instance, if we have a lot of people here and then I want to focus on I want the focus to be on this particular person and then make the person stand out, and I end up shooting and then having everybody inside the picture. I mean, somebody will look at the picture and then might not know what we are shooting. So knowing how to capture your subject is a very key thing that helps or tells a very good information about a picture. When you see a picture, how the subject has been modeled out, the something that we are shooting, how it has been modeled out is a key thing that you have to look at. Most of the times when we are shooting, let's say portraiture, we are doing portraiture, outdoor portrait, you might not put the subject there and then there's no separation from the subject and then the background, the foreground and the background. So most pictures, I mean, that is common. You find out that the back is blurred and then the sole focus is on the person that is, because that is a story that we want to tell. You ever see a tray, the guy's swag over there. So we will focus on the person there, and then all other things might not be in focus, might not be our focus. So we just blur those ones out. So that is a way of putting out a good image. You just need to know how to put your subject across. And the next thing,
I think someone is asking a question that you've spoken about light, and they know there are types of light. So aside the strobe and the flash, the person is saying that, please, can you briefly explain why some lights are bright and why some lights are dim in some pictures that I see?
Okay.
I think the person is trying to talk about low light photography.
Low light and then, okay. So you clearly, if you listen, you might have heard that I said that it might depend on what the photographer is shooting. Yes. So how I expose my image would depend on the look that I'm going for.
Yeah.
So for instance, just as she's saying that some pictures look dim and others look bright, perhaps that is what the photographer was going out for. He wanted a dim image. Okay. But as I was saying, if I'm telling a story of a birthday shoot for someone, I don't know why I would go for a dim image, because I have to show expression of happiness, and then except picture very bright so that you tell the story about happiness. I wouldn't be. You can go for dim pictures, but it wouldn't be ideal to go for dim pictures, because somebody might say, I don't know, my picture no, I dark side. Okay. So you have to know what you are doing for perhaps the client, or know what you are doing before you try to model out your light. So with that in that aspect like that, I think it would depend on the photographer. Maybe the photographer wanted, that is the look that the photographer wanted. So the photographer just went for that.
All right.
Yeah.
Just to remind our viewers, right after here, we'll be moving to the background to shoot some nice photo shoots and then teach, learn, study as we go how to use the lights. And so today, what kind of photography are we come to do at the studio? Is it the 3-point light or
okay?
I don't know what kind of.
We don't have everything. I didn't
Okay.
bring all my lights set up. We don't have all the lights.
Yes,
so
yes, for just demonstration.
just demonstration.
So,
we just have a key light and then a field light. So we are just going to demonstrate the various positions of light for the studio.
Okay.
Yes, that is what we are
today
going to
basically we just do 2-point or 1-point.
Yes, you are going to do.
All right. So what's next?
The next thing is composition. So for every photographer and artist, you are telling a story in an image. You are portraying an image. You are putting out a story out there. So first of all, your light tells how good your image is. The way you portray your subject tells how good the image is. The last thing that you have to pay attention to, most people don't pay attention to those things. The last thing that you have to pay attention to is how you compose your image. How you compose your image. The things that you look out for around you. Things that are maybe distracting from your subject, maybe distracting the subject. How you compose the subject away from that distraction. So composition plays a very key role in a good image. Yes. So there are various. I think I have 9 types of or ways that you can compose your images to make them, pleasing. Yes. So we have fill the frame. So basically, when you are taking a picture, we are looking at. We want the subject. That is what we are looking at.
Yeah.
You have to fill the frame. Make sure that your subject is rightly framed in the picture, because you can't. We are looking at a portraiture. Now the image is this wide, and then we are not seeing.
Okay.
So depending on what you are doing, if it's a portraiture or you have to fill the frame.
All right.
You have to fill the frame. That is a one way of composing an image. And then the next one is don't cut off limbs. That is, if mostly we mostly cut off limbs when you are doing event photography, and then sometimes you are in a hurry to take picture. You might realize that which are the picture knows and then that sometimes is not a good way of composing images.
Okay.
You have to make sure. Sometimes. Yes, and you be a say, oh yeah, don't make picture in 10 but only half. And I said, now so every and I said, something like that. Make sure you are composing the picture well without cutting off limbs and stuff like that. Now we can use some techniques known as rule of thirds. Rule of thirds. This one you need a little time to be able to explain.
Okay.
But you need to understand rule of thirds. Sometimes in an image, you are telling a story. For instance, I have a picture at the top. If we can project,
I think it will be on the screens very soon.
Yes,
yeah.
the picture here. The photographer used or deployed the services of a rule of thirds to be able to take this picture.
Okay.
Now, using rule of thirds, the photographer is telling a story of a dog looking at the sea. Of a dog looking at the sea.
Okay.
So somebody might quickly look at the dog and then film only the dog. Yeah. Meanwhile, the dog was doing something. So using rule of thirds, the photographer will be able to compose the image. That is, segmenting the pictures in a way and positioning the subject at a particular side. It's something that you need to understand.
Okay, so if I'm getting you right, then it means that you need to put the object at one side. At one side.
It has different. It's a rule of third. It has different depending on what you are portraying.
All right.
You know how to segment the images and position the subject there to tell the whole story.
Okay.
Yes, that is the basic understanding. So
yes,
because you are telling a story, you can't tell the story halfway. You need to compose it in a way that will tell the whole story.
Okay. Yes. We just a quick one. I'm reading out some of the comments that are there, both on Facebook and YouTube. So you can decide to comment either on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, the live event on the YouTube channel, or on the Facebook. Yes. So someone is saying that are we going to talk about ISO, aperture, and I don't know, shutter speed? I don't know. Okay, I think are we going to?
Yeah, we are going to definitely talk about.
All right, so don't worry. You do no more. You catch up. He's very loaded, and whatever we are trying to talk about, we have less time. So we just want to touch up on, you know, the most important things that as a photographer you should be able to do. Yes. So Mr. Wildlands.
So the next thing will be use frames. I would like to speed up so that we can meet the time.
Yeah.
So use frames. Make the most out of leading lines. There's another technique that you can also use when you have you have leading lines in an image. There's a story that is being told afar. Then there are lines that are leading to the story. You just can't help it, but to understand that you have to use the lines to be able to compose the image in such a way that, I mean, it's pleasing. Mostly, some of these things, I unfortunately didn't put images there to show, unfortunately. But maybe next time, if we have the ample time, we might go into details to some of these things. Simplify your focus. Know your focus. Yeah. Watch your background. Look for symmetry, and then create depth. Yes. These are, I mean, basic forms of composing your image. Basic forms of composing your image. Now to what our dear viewer was talking about.
Yes.
We are getting there now. Fundamental camera settings. I mean, you doing photography, you just can't take the camera and then start taking pictures. You need to understand how to take a picture. You need to understand what and what you need to put together to be able to take picture and then get it right. Yes. So the first thing that we would like to look at is, now there are three things. There's the ISO, as our dear viewer said. There's ISO, there's aperture and depth of field, and then lastly there's shutter speed. Yes. So let's talk about briefly about aperture. Okay. Aperture is a hole through which light travels and which controls the amount of light that enters the camera. The lenses usually contain several thin plates that can open and close, which changes the aperture and then therefore the amount of light that enters. In photography, aperture is measured in units, that is f-stops or f-numbers, such as f1, f1.4, f2.8, and f8. I mean, if you have interest in photography and you have been watching images closely, sometimes photographers put images across and then they write things like f1.2, f. That is what they are using to describe the aperture that they were shooting at. And then the aperture simply is a mechanism that is in the camera that opens up and allows light to enter the sensor or the camera. Yes. And then it's measured in stops, as was said. Now the basic idea of this thing, now quickly, all these three things help you to expose your image. All these three things, aperture, your ISO, and shutter speed, help you to expose your image. And when you say exposure, yes, what we are saying is that the amount of light that is we are seeing in the image. Yes. So we can have an image that is underexposed, that is, it doesn't have much light in it, and so it is dim, it is dark. And then we have an image that is overexposed, that is too much light in the image. So we can have an image that is okay. And to have a good image with good lighting, you need to know how to model these three things, your aperture, your shutter speed, and then all take into consideration one or two things. The aperture now leads to the depth of field. The depth of field, simply put, is, let's say, how blurry the background gets. Yes. So I would like to put, and take note, this thing can be very confusing. Sometimes if you don't pay attention to it, it can be, at least as a beginner, it can confuse you very, very much if you don't pay attention to it. So we have an image here that is shot with a wider aperture. And then we have an image here that was shot with a closed aperture. Now, the difference between these two images is that this one was shot with a wider aperture. That is an aperture that has opened and then has allowed light to enter. Has opened wide. Now, the bigger the number of the f-stop, Now the smaller the hole closes, and that means that the less light that enters.
Okay.
So the bigger the number, the bigger the figure, the smaller the hole closes, and then that means that less light enters.
Okay.
So your subject becomes dark. That's if you are using aperture. Okay. And then that one, the bigger the number, the more open your shot is. That means you don't have much depth of field. You don't have a larger depth of field. Okay. And then the smaller,
it means that it won't blare.
It won't blare.
Much.
Depth of field. It won't blare much.
So what was it? You can picture.
You mostly hear that, but I know why you blare. Yeah, this is what controls that. Okay. So your f-stop, your f8, f16, f whatever you have there, is going to close the hole and then allow less light to enter, and then give you much details of whatever you are shooting around the subject. And so a wider aperture, rather, that is smaller number. A wider aperture, that is smaller number. f1.8, 1.4, 2.8. That one opens the hole wider and then allows more light to enter, thereby blurring your background. So the first concept that you have to put in your head when you are doing that. So you have to look at what you are going for. Okay, I want the background to blur. So you have to choose a wider aperture. That is a smaller number. Okay. And then that will allow more light. Then if there's more light entering the camera, you need another thing to be able to model out and then take out some of the light from it. That will lead you to the shutter speed. So the next thing that you need to look at is the shutter speed. The shutter speed is the time frame when the shutter is open. When you click the shutter, here, there's a mechanism there that opens up and closes within which is measured in seconds. So once you click, the thing opens, and then the amount of within the time frame that the thing is open, there's an amount of light that enters. So that also controls the amount of light that enters. I said that earlier.
So that thing that opens, that's what just did the noise.
Clear? Yeah, it opens and closes within that time.
So you see that I remember some photographers, so I said ready, but clear.
That's a fact. So within that time frame, within that time frame, there's light entering the sensor, and then what you have to take, shutter speed takes into consideration motion. Okay. It's mostly used by motion photographers. That is, if you are taking a picture of a subject that is moving, as you model your aperture, you have to take into consideration your shutter speed, because when your shutter speed is low, when you have a shutter speed of, let's say, 2 seconds, let's say 0.6 seconds, it means that within 0.6 seconds, anything that moves, the camera will capture it. Will capture it. Okay. But then within that time frame, it won't be able to see what is actually going, because the number is small. So it won't be able to see what is actually going. It will only see from the start to the end. And then anything that is in between there, it won't be able to see it. But when you want to capture a car that is moving and you want to see the car going, you have to use a bigger figure. That is like 1/1000 or something. Okay. From that side going, yes.
So basically, now, from 0 to 1000, 1000, yes, sharp.
Now, then the image is getting sharper and then more stable.
More stable.
So as you go down, then the image is getting more blurry, and then it now becomes sort of a pattern. You only see pattern. That is mostly used by you mostly deploy this shutter speed when you are shooting long exposure. That is, you see images, only light patterns. I can't have it, but you don't see the car. You only see light patterns. I don't know if
I've been seeing some pictures.
Yes.
I say in the evening, then you see the road.
Yes.
But you see only lights.
Only lights
on the road, but you won't see the car.
You won't see the car. Yes.
Okay.
So this is the feature that helps.
That's a shutter speed.
The shutter speed is a feature that helps in taking those kind of pictures. Yes. And then this one too deals with the light that is entering the camera.
The
so
camera.
with 1/1000 and 1/2000, 1/4000 going, the more darker it gets.
Okay.
The more darker it gets.
Ah, that one also deals with light.
Light. So
the more I will increase in there, over from
bright. Now,
okay.
so you might not get a stable image. So that is why you have to clinically study them, know them well, and know what you are doing, how to model it, and how to come up with the best image.
Okay.
Now,
okay.
The last thing that you would like to look at when you are doing, you are trying to get the best settings for your camera is your ISO sensitivity.
Okay. Before we go to the ISO, I have somebody asking a question. That please, I've been seeing sometimes in a picture, when you take a group of picture, somebody moves and you can see that the person has moved. Please, is that aperture or shutter speed?
So that is what I earlier said, that shutter speed deals with movement. So
okay.
It means that the photographer had the shutter speed somewhere down.
From
yes.
So shutter speed so
that you can able to have, you can have stable images.
I'm trying to get a picture the person is painting. Let's just say we a group no mujina ho na say bako
shaking. Sometimes you get as an insano 1 2 3.
Yes.
So it means that the shutter speed wasn't set in a way that can stabilize the shot.
Okay, so setting the shutter speed,
yes.
Well and all of that.
Yeah.
Okay. We are trying to mix the language because we are getting more feedback that we should mix it so that some other people can also, benefit. So you should understand us when we start speaking the tree and the gun and all of that. All right. So please let's move on.
Okay. So the last element or the component is ISO sensitivity. ISO sensitivity, and then ISO sensitivity has to deal with the sensitivity of the sensor, how sensitive the sensor is, and then it's measured in numbers.
Okay.
So you find ISO 100, ISO 200,
ISO 200. All right.
ISO 400.
Before we continue, I would want to let our viewers know that yes, Preech Media is 5 years. If you just joined this tech tuition, we are running a free tech tuition from that started from Tuesday, and then we're going to end on Saturday. Yes, we are really going to end on Saturday. And then also I would want to remind you that Preech Media is 5 years old, yes, and as part of our celebrations, we are having a series of events. We started by showing some of the works we've done so far, some of the live streams, yeah. We showed some of our clients, jobs that we've done for them, all to say thank you, a big thank you to them. And then also this week, we are running a free tech training online. And in our studios, we have Mr. Michel from Wildlines, CEO of Wildlines, okay. And then next week, we'll be having a series of events. Praise and worship, Shaho. Testimony time, Shaho. The singles, we have married and singles e-talk also next week. As well as we're going to have a big donation to be made to the Drug Rehabilitation Center. Yes, that's also going to be next week. And we crown it all with an event on Sunday, next week Sunday. That's 21st of September. Yes, with a praise and worship, thanksgiving to God, and then also to award a few people who have been with Preech Media over the time. Without you, we wouldn't have been able to sustain. So we also want to say a big thank you to you all. All right, so coming back to ISO, I think our time is fast spent, so I want us to hurry up and then get to the studio background and do something.
So when you've modeled your aperture and your shutter speed and you still can't get your exposure right, the next thing to think about is your ISO. Now, with lower ISO, you tend to have less light. With lower ISO, you tend to have less light. When you want more light, you have to increase your ISO. So let's say you set everything and still your light is still more, check your ISO. Maybe your ISO is up. So you bring your ISO down. Your ISO is up. Yeah, you bring your ISO down, you have less light. But if you've done everything and you have less light in the camera, you need more light. That means you have to take the ISO up from 100 200, take it to 50, to 400, to 800, to 1,000, to 1,600, all the way to 6,400. Yes. But then the next thing that you have to take note of is that once the ISO goes up, the image becomes unsharp. It becomes grainy. There's a sort of noise on the image. So you just try it out and experiment, and you see how it is. I have a picture here, which I don't know if you can see well, but then this one has a lower ISO, and then it doesn't look grainy. But then the other one was shot at a higher ISO, maybe 1,000, maybe up to 6,000.
If I'm getting you right, it means we'll be to me a picture and noise.
Yes, there's noise.
That's the grains. You know?
Yeah, it looks like
it's not the rice grains,
no,
but
it looks grainy.
noise.
Yeah,
and others too are very clear.
Yes, and
okay.
So that is the element that controls that. Now, lastly, we would like to look at, with all, I mean, this is basic knowledge. So we'd like to look at some do's and don'ts in photography. Yeah, some do's and don'ts in photography, and then we call it no, not a day for a session for the theory aspect.
Yeah, the theory aspect. Then we move to the practical aspect. Okay.
So, as a photographer or as an upcoming photographer, you have to learn to shoot in manual. It's the best. It's the best. The cameras have automatic and then programs and then S and then standard, but you should learn to shoot in manual because it gives you a much more better control over the camera. And then do invest in quality instructions. Learn post-production. You have to learn post-production. That is, learn to edit your images. Learn to edit your images. Don't just take pictures and then put them out as they are.
All right. So I think, Kransman Frank, your question has been answered about the manual and the auto photography. Yeah. He just made a comment on that.
Okay.
Yes.
So learn to shoot in manual, as I said. And then use your equipment at its full potential. Yes. This is very key. I mean, you don't take a wide lens and then try to use a wide lens for a portrait picture. I mean, you are not using the equipment to its full. A wide lens is supposed to capture wider angles. So you
wild lens.
So okay. You have to look at the equipment and use it well to its maximum capacity or potential. Yeah. Learn to clean your cameras regularly. I know we all fall short of this, but it helps. It will help you protect and prolong the lifespan of your camera. Do practice more. Try new things. Don't be comfortable with where you are. When you are a portrait photographer, it doesn't mean stay there and be a portrait photographer. You can try other things. Try to have a few of a little of everything, but then you have your sole interest. But then try other things, and then you might know. You might find new interest. You might not know. You might find new interest in some of these things. And then one key thing that I would like us to look at is to have a role model. Have a role model. Have somebody who inspires you. Look at the person's work. Somebody who you look at and see your line of photography in. Look at that person and then let that person inspire you, and then learn one or two things from the person. And then the don'ts. Let's look at some few don'ts. Don't compare your works to others. This is not a competition. This is not a competition. It is called. It's not a competition. It is art. It is creativity.
Preach on.
It is not a competition. The way somebody would see things from their perspective will be different from the way you are seeing things. So don't look at somebody's work and compare yours and say, hey, maybe the idea. Nah. Everybody has his own style. Develop your style and then keep on improving. You are in competition with yourself and yourself only, nobody else. So don't see the thing as a competition. Do not compare your work to any other person. Yeah. Try to edit. Don't try to edit like someone. The fact that you have an inspiration or you are looking at someone doesn't mean that you should copy the person's style. You are trying hard to edit like
everybody's unique.
You have your own unique style. You can learn. Take 2 or 3 photographers. This person is good with color works. This person is good with retouching. This person is good. You can put all of them together, learn a bit, and then develop your own style with it. Nice. Have a unique signature for your images. Wow. Yes. And don't undervalue good glasses. As I said, you need to get good glasses for your cameras. And then don't let location keep you from shooting. You have to keep shooting, whether you have good location or bad. Try doing something with the location that you have. And then don't be a photo know-it-all. Don't be overwhelmed with post-production. Don't be afraid to edit your pictures. And do not shoot in auto. I've already said that. And then don't limit your style. I think that should be a little daunt for us, and then that should, on that note, we will end the theory session and try to move into the practical session.
Wow. This is a great honor. I do for to Preech Media, we do, everybody does, but you see, everywhere you find yourself, you're going to learn new things. Yes, so as part of the don'ts, he told you don't be a photography know-it-all.
Yeah.
Know-it-all. No matter how high you are, you have to submit yourself and learn. Life is a learning process. Every stage in life, you get to learn. Yes, so at this stage, I think we will move to the practical session. Yes. Once again, we are saying that thank you very much for joining the show. From here, we are moving to the practical session. So stay glued, and then just give us 2 minutes. We'll be right back. We are tuning the place again, and then we'll be right back with the practical session. All right, stay tuned, and God will bless you. So you just saw our pictures rolling on the screen, and then quickly we welcome you once again to the photography session of the Preech Online Free Tech Time. Yes, Free Tech Time. So we treated the theory part first, and now we are in for the practical part. Yes, so if you missed anything, we intentionally streamed this video in such a way that you can just go back and then watch the previous times. You can just go back quickly and then watch whatever he spoke about. Mind you, we need you to subscribe to our YouTube page, that is Preech Media. We will also have a playlist with all the videos there. Yes, exactly. You know, when you're looking for videos on Facebook, it's quite difficult. Yes, so we've come to the practical session, and then we are here with our model, Miss Linda Brooke. We'll be taking a lot of people pictures, but she's the main person, you know. You know, ladies are beautiful, so men are also handsome, like me myself, of course. So we have Mr. Michel Assouka again. Mr. Michel,
yeah.
Quickly, we want you to tell us about the kind of shoot we are doing right now.
Oh, okay, so we are just tackling the various light positions that was demonstrated, that was talked about. That is the butterfly, the loop, the various lights for a simple home studio. So for a simple home studio, you can have some of this basic concept that was taught. That is the artificial light setup, which I have here as my parabolic box 120, Godox 120 cm parabolic deep box. Yeah, and then I have in it my light setup, that is the Godox 8600 BM, and then I have my camera here, and of course my trigger. So you just need all of these things just to model out, and you need a background, a backdrop, and then a subject. That is all you need for a simple.
So at the end of this, at the end of this session, we're going to put his number out there. We're also going to make sure we put the slide what he shared with us online, so that in case you couldn't get some of the things quickly, you can just go back and refer. All right. So I guess the floor is yours now.
So we have a very beautiful model here that we are just trying to
we'll hide
shoot
her face
and then get some.
But you see her face. Don't worry. You see her face.
Some expressions and then try to model her face. Yes. So we have. I'm shooting. First of all, I'm taking the butterfly setup. That is where the light is placed in front and then over the subject, and then I have my settings as 200 because I'm doing tethering. I think most of my settings have been placed on the camera. So I have my shutter speed at 200, my aperture at 1.7 because I'm shooting studio. I want details to be able to, do my retouching and stuff like that. So I want details. So I'm shooting at f1.7, and then I think my ISO has to be shown on the camera there. Yes. But I should be shooting at ISO not more than 200 or 150.
Okay.
Camera settings.
All right. So currently, what we are doing is that this is a technical, tuition stuff. So we are doing with 3 cameras. Yes. So don't worry at all if you are not seeing some things. We are doing with 3 cameras. That's camera 1 on me. That's a master camera here, basically. And then we have camera 2 on Mr. Michel Assouka. Yeah. And then the 3rd camera is up there. Yes, that captures the entire room. So you can see that from the 3rd camera. Oh, of course, yes. You can see the Godox softbox from the wide camera that just showed. And then also, we are doing well to bring you whatever is captured from the camera straight to the PC. So you're going to see the PC on your screen. Yes, exactly.
So as I said, I'm shooting at ISO 200. Yes. So we would like to take
a test shot. Okay, let's take some pictures.
See,
all right.
How? So let me have
producer, if you can get us some music
give me
in the background.
The best smile that you can give me. Yes. Okay, smile. Take a picture. Yeah. So let's see the image that comes out. Okay.
Nice.
So we have a very nice,
beautiful
separation from shadows to light. So we have, this is the butterfly. We said that the light, it's placed overboard. So it just gives a little shadows at the beneath the chin.
Beneath the chin.
And then just the eye level,
very
which
little shadow,
you can see there. So for a simple home studio, this setup should do for you. You just need to get your backdrop and then just one light like
One
this,
light source.
place it over your subject, and then you are
Okay.
good to go.
Okay.
Yeah, that is it. So with the next light setup, I would like us to look at the loop. And then with the loop, I think we said that it's placed 45 degrees away from the subject or towards the subject. And
Okay,
then
so I think the wide camera can capture
I'll-
as we are moving the light towards one angle. Yes, the camera up there, the wide one. Yes, so now you can see that we've changed the position of the soft box. Yes, I think this is a Godox soft box. Aha.
Yeah.
We will do well to see if we can put out some photography shops that sell some of these equipment here in Ghana. Oh, free adverts. You know, Preech Media, they will do free adverts. Yes. So now we've changed the position of it, right?
Yeah. So this is, assuming it's 45 degrees towards the subject or so. Yeah. So this is the loop light setup. So
Okay.
if I am going for this kind of look on the model or on the subject, I would like to, let's take a shot and look at
All right.
how, okay, no, just give me that side.
Yes.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
a good smile. Yeah. Yeah, good smile. Okay, so
Alright.
when you look at the image and compare it to the first one that was taken, you can find out that can we have the first image? Can we
Okay.
have the first image?
Okay.
The
So
very first image.
the very first one.
Yes.
I think
the
that's
one. No, the other one. Yeah.
this one. Okay.
Yeah. So we can see that here there's a much better spread of light on our subject
Yeah.
as compared to the recent one that was taken.
Okay.
Let's go to the last one.
The last one
Yeah.
too. Okay. This one.
Yeah, so with this, you can see that there's some shadows, a little shadows falling off at the side of the image with a little light spilling off on the chin, off on the cheeks of the subject. So that this is the loop light. And then with this, if you are using this setup and then maybe you don't feel like this look and you want to fill in, that is when you
Yes.
come with your fill light, and then that is why you deploy the services of a fill light.
A fill light.
Yes,
Okay. So
that
this,
is-
what's the name of this?
This is a reflector.
a
and this is-
reflector.
yes.
Okay.
a
So
reflector.
what does the reflector do?
Okay, so we say reflector. The name, as the name sounds, it's
Okay.
supposed to reflect. So
Okay.
what it does is that light from the main light hits it, and then it fills in the shadows.
Okay.
That is
okay.
placed-
So it
that-
reflects the
yes.
light
From the
top,
main light,
the
yes.
main light
and
here.
then fills in the light, that
Okay.
the shadows that is falling off of
All
the model's
right,
face.
all right. So
can,
let
we-
me
can,
just-
can you straighten it for me?
Okay.
Yes, because, yeah.
Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect.
So let's try and take a shot and see if
All
that
right. All
does the
right.
magic.
Let's take a shot and see.
Let's see. It's like, can we fill in more? I can't.
Okay,
I
the
wish somebody
position.
would come. Or
Yes. Oh,
if
no
you
problem.
could come and fill in better
yes,
for
yes.
us.
Just
Yeah,
some
in
extra
straight,
medicine.
yeah. Let's, let's do it like this. one.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. Can we have the
All
image?
right. Yes, they are
Yeah,
just
so
on the screen.
If you can take a closer look from the first one and to this one, you can see that there's some amount of light hitting the part that was
Okay. So at first here was
here was
darker.
a little darker. So now
Okay.
the reflector is filling in the light a little
Okay.
bit, and then it gives you the form of a butterfly, but this is not a complete butterfly
Okay.
light setup. It's a loop just with a fill light. Yeah, so
Okay.
it's
I think
giving
the
you.
producer can put us on the left side of the screen. Because I just saw a comment.
Yeah.
No, on the other side. I just saw a comment that we are not the wide shot. So that they can see whatever we are doing. I think PIP on the left, lower left side. Okay. All right. And then
Yeah.
also, let's go back to our photography.
Yeah,
Okay.
so this fill light just fills in the light a little. So if you are going for a loop setup, this could be how you do it. Just place the light 45 degrees as it's said, and then you have your shadows. But if you don't like the shadows, you just fill in with another light. It can be a lighting modifier or a reflector. Another box there with another light in it or a reflector.
Okay.
That could do the magic for you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
So we'll go for the next setup, which
Okay.
is the split light.
the split light.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let's see how we move I'll still call it umbrella.
Yeah.
Cause,
Simply put. Simply put, yes. So I think this is the split light, and then it says that it's placed 90 degrees. Technically, I'm just guessing that I have it 90 degrees. 90. I'm just guessing.
From top to down.
I'm just guessing I have it at 90 degrees. So
yeah.
you can have a light setup like this, and then let's see. Yes, give me a smile.
Okay, producer, the pictures will be going down, so please move the PIP to the other side. Okay. So that people, our viewers can watch it well. Okay.
So just give me a smile with just the same head, yeah.
Yes. All right.
Okay, just a minute.
This is
so
very, very good.
Let's say she's smiling.
Yeah.
She's smiling. We are supposed to tell her emotions. We are supposed to express her smiles. But I don't think this is a good way of expressing someone smiling. As comparing it to the first one, that is the butterfly light that was taken.
Yes.
So which light do we think would be the best light to express her smile? So that is exactly. So that is why we are saying that the light setup will basically depend on what you are coming out for, what you are trying to express.
Okay.
So for the last setup that was done, I think when I'm trying to express emotions such as someone who is fierce, mostly that kind of split light setup is used for low-key lighting. Some sort of lights where you see only every place dark and then one light hitting just at one side of the image. Yeah. So
low light.
that kind of, low lights sort of, that kind of lighting is what you use for that. So you wouldn't like to use that to express someone's happy moment, someone smiling. I don't think you will get the best emotions out of that. So I think this is a simple setup. And then the last one is a top down, but I don't think with the modifiers we have here and the stand we have, we cannot show the top down. So I think that will be okay for now.
Oh, okay, that's very, very great. That's very great. So I think we have to take some pictures.
Okay, so
this is the joy of the work. All right, so let's which particular one? Me, mum, dear. I like the first one.
Yes. That's what I think everybody will like.
Of course.
Just so that you see my face well and everybody know that I'm fresh.
All right. So let's put it there and then see how our feedback is. All right. Producer, this one you have to take some of the pictures. So you have to feature a producer here. Nice. That's great.
I'm not going to see it. Okay, so just taking.
Good. I wish we could see the pictures coming on the screen. Yes. And then put us on the other side. We enjoyed the other side. Nice one.
Okay, so I think these are, it's telling a good story of her emotions. Some nice portraits.
Yes.
This should do.
Please, this one, I want us to gather them. And then we'll pull our producer here. Today we will shoot our producer. Producer, please come. We are waiting for you. Okay. If you don't come, we are not ending the session. Please, this one by special request. Please come. Come. We enjoy. All right, so we are once again reminding you that this is Preech Media at 5, Tech Time, quick practical sessions, yes. And then right after here, we will edit just a few. Our producer has made us know that he has extended the time 15 minutes because we are taking pictures of him. Oh, God bless you, Yamisha. Producer, you've done you do. All right. So let's stand the chair for our producer to sit down and then we see. What, are you shy?
I think he is.
Okay, come forward. Oh, nice. So our producer will be lecturing tomorrow. Our producer and then the model you saw on the screen will be lecturing tomorrow. Oh, nice. I think you should come forward more with the chair, together with the chair. Yeah. You can see our fresh producer sitting there. Nice one. Your body, but big brain. A very blessed gentleman who is doing so well, so well in the media space. Wow. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I think from here we'll dive into editing, just a few of the pictures, and then we take it from here. Okay. So reading some of the comments on Facebook and YouTube, we have Obapa Kunu saying that nice shots. The model mom dear, she's beautiful. All right. Obapa Kunu again saying that Preech Media, you should have invited me so that you use me for practical session. 27th is my birthday, so that I'll have great free pictures for my birthday. Obapa Kunu, we can see that you are really engaging us on social media. So 27th is your birthday. All right, so we are granting you a free birthday shoot. I guess our producer will contact you right after the show, and then make sure that you get your free birthday shoot. Yes, yes. Sunko Joshua says Shabo session. this is authentic Shabo session. Okay. So Obapa Kunu says, Mr. Iman, next time do a session for instrumentalists too. Do's and don'ts amongst others. Yes, instrumentalists. Okay. So diving into this, I would want to mention this, that next week Friday we are having a live webinar. Yes, a media webinar. We're going to talk about music in the 21st century. That's Christian music in the 21st century. We are going to talk about Christian music ministers in the 21st century. We're going to talk about Christian entrepreneurs in the 21st century. So the instrumentalists, they will get their share. So don't worry at all. We are seeing Kwasma Frank. Please be happy when something small about auto. Okay, I think we've answered this one long time ago. Atu Kwame Nadadze says, great initiative. Thanks, team. Oh, yes, yes, yes. ASAP Desi says, share. Post for her. Yes, Obapa. So our producer will contact you right after here, and then make sure you get your shoot. And it will be put on our page. Oh, yes, of course. So can we dive into the editing session? But right before then, we can see a lot of engagement still on social media. Obapa is really engaging us today. Okay, so a quick one. Going back to YouTube, let me read a few comments there. A few comments. More fire. Kojosen Yepsen. And then on WhatsApp also, let's come to WhatsApp. Wow, great from Preech Media. God richly bless you. God richly bless you also, our viewer, for everything that you've been doing for us. Today, we wanted to open the phone lines, but as you can see, time is far spent and not really on our side. So right from here, we would want to dive into the editing. Just a small touch-ups, very small touch-ups on the images. And producer, I hope our airtime is still available. We have some 2 minutes. God bless you. God bless you. Our producer is a very fine gentleman. Don't worry. All right. So let's dive into editing and then retouching.
Retouching.
Yes. Can we go back to the screen? Okay. All right. So you can see that the pictures are loading. We are still loading some things. Yes, on the software. Yes, but before this, we would also, just to buy some small time for the things to load, then we would want to play some of the activity videos that we have as part of our 5 years anniversary that we are celebrating. Yes, so producer, right from here, he will show it on the screen, and then just a short montage, so that when we come back, just 1 minute, by that time I believe the things would have loaded, and then we can kick off. God richly bless you, and stay tuned. Thank you very much for staying tuned. I mean, I really have to thank our followers because I can see you guys are doing a very, very great job. You've been sharing the videos, you've been liking, you've been commenting, and I'm so amazed. We still even have people following us. Yes, you should know that this is Preech Media at 5. Free tech time. Yes, we are doing free technical training, and therefore we started from last 2 days. We did live streaming video. Yesterday we treated sound with Mr. Johnson Asari. Today we treated photography, yes, with Mr. Michel, Wild Lens. Wild Lens. Thank you very much for joining us with all of that. You see, we realized that the editing process is also going to take time. And time is not really on our side. So with a promise to you, we are going to touch up all those pictures and fly them off on Preech Media Facebook page. By the way, if you need to learn more, stay glued because another package is coming to your way. Yes, we will bring another training session your way to cover in depth all of these. Perhaps it might not necessarily be online, but mind you, it will be done one way or the other. Yes, so quickly we want to say a very big thank you to Almighty God for seeing us through till this time. Even through all the technical challenges and all of that, I guess you've enjoyed the show. I want to read your comment out if you've enjoyed it, what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, more advice on what should be done and what not should be done. We need your advice more. And then also, Brakweku Simon. Yes, Brakweku Simon says no sound. We are still around. So please, producer, check it for us. Brakweku Simon, yes, I think the sound is in. Yes, So thank you very, very much for staying with us. Mind you, you can contact Preech Media on 0543 294101. I guess the company's numbers will be rolling down there. So in case of any enquiry, for more enquiries, you can contact Preech Media, yes, on 0209151669 as well as 0558105859 for more details. Tomorrow is the last day. Let me know in the comment section, what do you want us to treat tomorrow? Yes, let us know in the comment section what you want us to treat tomorrow. But we have a special package coming your way. You saw our model on the screens, so she'll be there tomorrow. You saw our producer too. They'll be there to grace you with more unction in terms of video production. Yes, they will let you know a lot of things that you have to know. These people are young people, but mind-blowing. They are doing greater things. I guess you watched Tahila. Yes, the previous two Tahilas. I guess you've been watching Dinah Hamilton's videos, some of them, those captured by Preech Media. I guess you've been watching Akesi Brimpong's live stream. Manchagbona. Yeah, Nakan live stream and all of that. Yes. These brilliant people have been behind the scenes doing a lot of great work. So mind you, they'll be coming your screen tomorrow. And then also, we want to address this issue of comments. Please, mind you, if we are treating a particular topic, because of time, yes, we want to make sure that whatever topic we are treating, you ask questions curtailing to that. Until you do, baby, or kasa about sound, no ebisa sound hoasem. You do baby or kasa about video, no ebisa video hoasem. Thank you very much for staying up with us till now. And then also, just like I said, we promised to put the edited pictures there and then run another training intensive. It will come your way. So stay glued. That will not be now, but obviously it will come your way. Producer, this year or next year? Okay, I think we'll put the announcement there when it is ready. Thank you very much for joining us today, and then catch you tomorrow, same time, over here at Preech Media. Thank you very much, and have a lovely day. Wow, great comments, great comments.